Yeah.
A Way Out.
I think that it is a novel. Oh, you're on my cable. There we go. I think it's a novel. Oh wait, we're not. Are we still streaming?
We are. We are.
Sorry. I think it's a novel idea for a game. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess turns out the guy that made that game also made the game that won the 2021 Game of the Year in 2021.
Oh, what was it?
It Takes Two, I think is what it's called. It's another co-op game like this. Let me see if I can pull that up. Oh shit. Oh yeah, that's right. That guy was asking about Steam Cell stuff. I should look into that a little bit.
For Honor, that's what they were telling.
He was also asking about
Steam. Did you ever play Unravel? I played both of them, man. The first one was really good.
I guess it's made by the same guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I just went to their company. I went to their company page.
Oh, no, that makes sense, dude. Because the first Unravel is a really good game.
Oh no, okay, this is somebody different. This is Coldwood Interactive.
Yeah.
But it is still EA. So.
Yeah, I played Unravel with Juniper when she was very little, and she loved it. She called it Yarn Cat, and she loved it.
Yarn Cat.
Yeah, and then we played the next one in co-op when we played together, and she loved that one too.
Here to show you gameplay of It Takes Two. The game is a co-op action-adventure platformer with a focus on marrying the story and gameplay. You play as Cody and May, two parents that have decided to divorce. Of course, this upsets their daughter Rose, who creates two dolls that the parents magically turn into. And with the guidance of a cheesy love book called Dr. Hakim,
they have to stay together.
I will help you fix your relationship.
You now control Cody and May on this crazy ride.
Reach them. We're tiny.
The amount of variation is insane. There are no similar scenarios. Every scene is unique. Whatever happens in the story will be reflected in the gameplay. Let me show you some examples. When Cody and May meet a gang of squirrels in their tree, May finds out that Cody led a nest of wasps.
I mean, it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Now they are forced into a war between the wasps and the squirrels, using the squirrels' weaponry. Combine the sap gun and the match gun to create explosions.
Murdering
Or
bees,
use
come
them
on
to weigh
now.
down objects and open new paths.
I'm getting spooked about it.
I'm very skeptical of any
Here's
game
another example. This level is about
or movie
finding Cody and May's
where a
lost
divorcing
attraction. They're
set
given
of
pieces
parents
of a magnet at the
stuff
head door
happens
for
and
their
they work it
attraction.
out.
They work it out. Well, maybe they don't work it out. Maybe they
Use the magnets to push
maybe
and
what
pull
would have been
their way
an
through danger.
acrimonious divorce becomes an amiable one.
Maybe so.
You can never tell with these indie
Another
games.
level
It's
is
true.
their
I think
relationship.
this is the kind of game company that I think most companies like Edge of Reality and Armature and whatnot, like the smaller studios, wish they were. Like they want to be.
Yeah,
And I think Armature is probably closer to actually being a kind of.
I didn't work at Armature, but there was
Yeah.
no one at Edge of Reality that I met that was an eighth as creative as what it would take.
Well,
to
I
make
mean,
that
that's kind of the problem, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if.
in general, in both the game companies I've worked at, in all of them, I've generally been very disappointed in the raw creativity on display.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, there are artists and stuff that work there, but the whole vibe is so corporate and so
This is
like
Joseph Fares, game director.
so weirdly like draconian that it just doesn't feel like a creative environment to make cool stuff. It just kind of feels like a place that people are just, punching the clock and cashing a check.
Yeah, unfortunately. But I mean, that's because you do have to pull in money in order to fund your projects. So a lot of these companies get stuck into the trap of doing code development for other people's projects, and then it's kind of how I described Aspire back in the day, where they're just like a raccoon that's dumpster diving for whatever sustenance that it can take in, and they have these visions of wanting to make their own Artour game.
Well, you worked there when there were visions. When I worked there, the visions were over. I mean, it was a clearinghouse for shitty games.
No, they still had, because when I started there, that's when they did Stubbs the Zombie.
Yeah, and supposedly that was cool.
Yeah, but they did want to do more. They just didn't. It was a situation where because of their movie publishing arm and their music publishing arm, and the changes that were happening with how Mac gamers were moving away from gaming to the extent that there was even gaming there, and they were moving into more of the PC space and all that sort of stuff. Like, they were just trying to suck up as much money as possible so that they could, exist the next year. And they tried to like still do develop like actual development work. That's when they had their original Sims title that they were working on.
Yeah.
And they did put out a puzzle game of some sort that I think was original, but that was like shortly after I left. But it's hard to do. It's hard to do that shit if you aren't like independently financed or something. Like if you don't just have a cache of money that you can use on your own, or you're funded by like your family or something like that.
Yeah.
Or, if you aren't just like also really good at what you do, then it's just really hard to make a game like that. So yeah, a lot of companies like they may make a title, but then after they release it, they get sucked into the rabbit hole of, okay, our game isn't selling the way we thought it would. We need to sustain, our business. So they get onto the track of co-development.
Yeah,
that's a hard track to exit.
When I was at Edge, dude, they were making a hack and slash, like, what's the game where you sneak around and murder people? Like a military game.
You take your pick there.
Kind of like
Metal Gear.
Kind of like Metal
Siphon
Gear.
Filter.
Siphon Filter. It was called, like, to me, it was a ripoff of Siphon Filter, and it was called Cipher Complex. It even had the same name as Siphon Filter. And I was like, this is basically just a Siphon Filter ripoff that they were working on for Sega. You can actually get on, I don't know if you worked on it at the time you were there, but you can get on, like, YouTube and you can look at, like, Cipher Complex. There's actually people uploaded.
Let's see, maybe this is a little better.
Did someone put this on May 23rd, 2020 is when this got uploaded. I wonder who uploaded this. The prototype from 2009. So this would have been after I left. Because yeah, all this shit was just starting to come together. Like,
main smelting area. General Kim should be in there somewhere.
I remember you.
Remember.
Yeah, we had a big debate on the
UI.
The
like what does a military UI look like?
And of course, they went with this, which I mean, this is actually
it's stylish.
This is pared down. Yeah, this is very pared down from where they originally were. But I was like, I think it should be like bare bones, because I got done playing Fallout 3, and I was like, dude, that's a fucking UI. I mean, that looks amazing. You know what I mean? And they weren't receptive.
Fallout 3, that had come out by then?
That we're actually helping this scumbag.
That's not your decision, Cipher. Our orders are to extract him. Just follow the plan.
No plan survives contact with the enemy.
What's that supposed to be? Your epitaph?
I'm moving out. Going silent for now.
Didn't you also say that, like, you spent a lot of time making a knife stabbing sound effect? That's right! You said he was just this jack dude walking around with a knife.
Yeah, that's it. That was the game.
He has a big ass knife like some fucking serial killer.
Creativity it was in short supply at Edge of Reality when I was there.
Oh man, that's so funny.
Even the sound effects were like the slow down time stuff, it could be so much cooler.
I'm trying to figure out what's happening. So what, he has like super
He can
speed powers?
He can move around really fast, I guess. I gotta say though, it's pretty confusing to watch.
It is. Like, I'm trying to figure out what's going on down here with this guy.
The music's not good at all, too.
What is... Okay, so that's just... They're really showcasing the bad UI here, or bad AI here. What? This was Xbox 360?
Yeah, I think this was for 360. Not super distorted. Maybe it's the transfer. Maybe it's not actually
the audio. I think it's the encoding, video encoding.
Maybe it doesn't sound as bad as it sounds. He's already dead.
I mean, you know the dude who did this.
They did what?
The audio?
I know.
Homer?
Well, Homer worked on it, yeah, but it was the main guy. I think his name was Steve. Homer was actually working on something else when I was there. I was working on this, and Homer was working on He was working on a port that they were working on for the Wii at the time. He probably did move on to this.
Well, what's going on there? Like that guy. So he really is just a psycho with a knife.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's just Jason Voorhees.
And the blood
militarized.
just pours out of these guys.
He's just a militarized Jason Voorhees.
That guy weirdly just like didn't even notice him. He just kind of. Sorry, Cipher. You're dead.
Oh, that was kind of lame. I couldn't tell what was happening for a second.
There's probably a reason it got canceled.
What the heck? To the roof to see what's going on.
Okay, I'll tell the captain.
Yeah, I don't know if this was done before I got there, and this is just what they released. This is a little over like 8 months after I left that this came out. If it really came out in March 2009, but like.
That's interesting. Because I don't recall. I was at Edge for a little while, and I must have been there around this time because I started working. I only worked at Edge for like a month or so.
Yeah.
And I started.
I did too.
Yeah, I started working at BioWare in May of 2009. I got hired there from Edge. So at some point, it must have been May, or it must have been April then that I worked there. Yeah, then I guess I worked there. You know what? They must have showcased this in March of 2009. It got canceled, and then I got hired.
Yeah.
That must have been what
Honestly,
happened.
it was on a downward slope when I left. I mean, I worked on it a little bit. They were really big into this. What I spent the most time working on was they wanted because sneaking was so important.
Yeah.
They wanted like a specialized footstep system where you could go from toe to heel or heel to toe based on how you were sneaking. And so to make it, I had to like chop the footsteps up, like, and break them off, and then repurpose the fronts to the backs on certain. And I built it all out in Wise, and it worked pretty well. But the problem was because the footsteps were the so if you make a footstep, you go like, what I mean?
You drop your heel
But
first.
because you could go really slow, and it was actually two sounds. It wasn't just like the one sound with both things baked into it.
Yeah.
So when you went really slow, it was like, depending on how you were going. You know what I mean? Which got weird if you're going really slow because the
it sounds like a horse.
in between. Well, the space in between, it wasn't practical at certain. But it was I worked on it for a long time and involved a lot of. I made it in Wise and then I remade it in Fmod. And then on my last day working there, they told us that they weren't going to be able to use Wise or Fmod. They had to use Miles, just some antiquated bullshit that was lame and old by the time at that point.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, well, that's not going to be my problem. I'm gone. I remember I went for an interview on my lunch break to Tequila, and Tequila had.
We both did the same thing.
Oh, dude.
We both went on interviews at other places on our lunch break.
Yeah, man. Tequila had a fully catered lunch. I was just
nice.
and they were like, "Oh yeah, have a sandwich while you're here." I was like, "Oh
You're like,
You mean it?
you're offering
Yeah,
sandwiches?
yeah.
This is already an
And
improvement.
it was like gourmet shit because that was when tequila
because
was.
Edge of Reality, I don't know about you, but me, they paid me like just like a penny over minimum wage.
Oh yeah. It was a joke. It was an absolute joke. I had the title of sound designer,
Yeah.
but they were like, we can't pay. That's what they told me. They're like,
That's
we
what it's
can't
called,
pay
Little Heartbeats.
like an actual wage that a sound designer makes, but we will give you the title of sound designer.
Yeah, like
so
that's some kind of like
so
fucking.
that when you go with another job, you can say you were a sound designer. And I was like, okay. At the time, I just wanted a job. I was just like, I want a steady job. I'm tired of doing freelance stuff. I just want to go to work and whatever.
Yeah.
I'll find something better while I'm doing this, and I did within 3 weeks. But and it was, and then they took me in for my exit interview because they were tripped out that I quit so fast, and they were like, well, why are you quitting? And I was like, well, I've got a better job offer. And he's like, well, can I ask what the offer is? And I was like, well, that's a salaried position with full benefits. And he was like, okay, see you later, buddy. He was like,
that mirrors my experience when I got hired. I told him like I got a bolt. I had my interview with them. They were like, but they were at that point like they've probably seen this so many times that they were like, so, why are you leaving? I was like, I got a position someplace else. They're like, they pay better, huh? I was like, yeah. I was like, okay. And that was it.
yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's all there is to it.
It was
like,
weird, too, because they were definitely in their death spiral at that point. And if that shows you exactly what their modus operandi was. It was like, we need talent. We need butts and seats just to do stuff. Offer as little as we can possibly get. The guys will get in here. They'll stay. They'll do something. And then they'll move on. You know what I mean? And we'll find somebody else that, will just do the butts and seats kind of stuff.
This is the latest, the R-Tour style game that my last game company I worked at put out. I've been meaning to try to pick it up because it's only on it's only on the PlayStation Network. So I'm waiting for them to put it on Steam. But I remember very early on working on this title.
Is this in Unity?
Yes. Wait, no. I think this was Unreal. The guys that did the music are like two musicians from Austin. Like, I guess they do stuff for games, but like I think they're actually like just post-rock musicians. So I guess the whole idea of this game is that it's a narrative about this guy who's making life decisions and how those life decisions like unfold throughout the years and decades, and it shapes the world around him and also shapes his relationship with his family. I don't know how they ended up settling on what the in-game state is. I'm kind of curious about that. But it's supposed to be like a more emotional, narrative-based game.
Yeah. There's actually a bunch of games like this.
Yeah.
I kind of think most game trailers are kind of crappy. You know what I mean? It's just like...
Well, it's definitely hard to create like a compelling trailer for something like this, but I mean,
because people want to see the gameplay and stuff, and it's like gameplay doesn't...
Well,
like,
this is the gameplay.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, my point is that like, gameplay doesn't make a compelling trailer. A trailer is just supposed to, in my opinion, it's just supposed to be like fizzy, amazing, quick, just like all the best stuff. You're just like, wow, I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, I mean that's why. I mean, well, I guess it depends on the game, right? Like, sometimes the action beats of gameplay can make for a compelling trailer, just depending on what those action beats in that game are and how they're like shot cinematically. Like that was a big part of doing QA on Star Wars: The Old Republic. Is sometimes the cinematic team would be like, all right, we need to get some shots from some action scenes here and there, like from PvP or PvE or whatever. And, we would figure out, okay, what do they want? They want us to go to this area. They want us to be able to fight some Mandalorians or something with this in the background or whatever. So we'd go to that area, we fight it, and then we'd use the debug mode to get the camera in the right area and all that sort of stuff. And for the trailer, it cut together in a cool Star Wars looking way, And in that respect, you can make a trailer that's compelling in the sense that you're talking about, but it's difficult to do it with non-action games.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. It's difficult to do it with action games that suck, because if the game isn't compelling or anything, then
well, plus just the trailer industry, like the people that make the trailers for the really major huge games, most of the time they're like Trailer Park. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The people that make trailers for big movies. But most games get trailers made by just several really small kind of mom and pop shops that make game trailers, and sometimes their work isn't the best.
Yeah.
All right, bro.
All right. Thank you for those who joined us tonight. Thank you. I saw one person subscribe, so that's cool.
We covered some interesting ground.
Yeah, and I'll be streaming again on Thursday, I believe. So I'll see you guys then. I'll probably jump back into the Witcher world. And
Book of Boba Fett tomorrow night.
Book of Boba. Oh,
Episode
yeah, we didn't
2.
even talk about that.
I know, we didn't.
Holy
yeah.
shit. Well, quick take.
Oh, I liked it. I thought it was cool.
Thought it was cool too.
Yeah.
It was very Mandalorian.
Yeah, it was a lot like the same guys doing
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
So
it's also about a guy in Mandalorian armor.
And I kind of think the Mandalorian was originally kind of seen as okay, let's just
we
make
need to make a
Fett.
proof of concept of the Boba Fett show.
I don't even think that. Yeah, I think that basically originally they just thought they weren't going to make a Boba Fett thing, and they're like, we're going to make a Boba Fett thing, but we won't call him Boba Fett. We'll call him something else. But he'll look like Boba Fett looked in the original concept art when he was on the cartoon, because he looks just like Boba Fett from the holiday special cartoon. He'll be a bounty hunter. He'll have his own ship. He'll just be doing Boba Fett stuff. He'll sound like Boba Fett sounded in the original movies. And then I think after a while they're like, well, we could actually just bring Boba Fett,
yeah,
you know what I mean? And make that its own thing.
And the tribute to Patton Oswalt's thing.
Yeah, I love seeing him get out of the Sarlacc pit. I thought it was cool.
That was cool.
My daughter loves sand people, so she the whole sand person thing, like arc. However, I gotta say, man, I heard a guy on Force Center podcast do because some people were complaining. They were like, I didn't like the sand people stuff. It was slow. Nothing happened. I was expecting something epic or whatever. I thought it was fun. I thought it was cool. But this one guy, man, he was explaining, or he was his take on the sand person arc, and it was just crazy deep. Like if they had any of that stuff going on when they were writing the script, with the different sand people, it's pretty impressive.
Who was that? That wasn't Mike Zero, was it?
No. It was some of the good guys. It was this guy named something Scrimshaw. He's trivia. He's like a Star Wars trivia expert. Joseph Scrimshaw and Ken Knapsack. They have a podcast called Force Center, and basically he was just talking about how the child represents all the different stages of Boba Fett's life. So the child represents Boba Fett as a child, which we see in the very beginning, and then the warrior represent the Boba Fett fights represent Boba Fett in his bounty hunter warrior phase, and the leader, you know what I mean, represents the person that Boba Fett would like to become, which he goes on to do. Its idea is this formulative kind of a structure that
they show you the growth of the character without using the character.
Yeah, or just this exactly. They represent the three stages of who Boba Fett was and where he wants to go. You know what I mean? In the first episode, but if that was what they were intending, I just thought it was cool. He was hanging out with sand people on Tatooine.
Yeah,
I thought the special effects looked really great. It
did. It looked great.
I thought that the monster that came out of the sand was completely like a nod to Ray Harryhausen, which I thought was so cool.
But the first thing I was like, it's like this guy's living in the desert. And he's that jacked. Like what protein is he eating out there? That dude was ripped. He was had 4 arms and had a gorilla body. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, but I liked his eyes because they made his eyes like those desert lizards. Their eyes just come down to little points. Because I enjoyed it.
I thought it was cool. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to more of it. So that's our quick take on the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, if you're into Star Wars, I don't know why you're not.
You're not going to be disappointed by it.
Yeah, there are some people that are, but I don't know.
Fuck them.
Yeah, I don't get it really. But what else? I think that's pretty much everything.
Yeah, and next time you're here, maybe next Tuesday, perhaps, we'll do some unsolved mysteries.
Awesome.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. If you liked what I said, what Justin said, if you like the content we're providing, if you had any kind of laughs at all, even if you hate us, if you hate my guts, if you want to stab me, if you want to say all sorts of horrible things to me, cool. Like the video, subscribe. You'll get fed all sorts of shit you'll probably hate. And if you like us, you'll get fed all sorts of shit you probably like. So please and thank you.